Hey guys, Drifter here. The new Battlefield reveal was just about an hour or two ago. I had a chance to sit down, view the trailer a couple times, think about it, and today I wanted to make a video about Battlefield. I wanted to give you all the news and offer my impressions and feedback. The gameplay you're seeing is from a much older video of me and J-Hub screwing around in Battlefield 4 with the dirt bikes, having a lot of fun. I don't think I have a lot of gameplay of this, so I'm going to transition over to a hardline live stream that I did after, so don't worry about the voice. It won't sync with the video. That's totally fine. I'm going to go over the news and then offer my impressions after I show the trailer. So the news is that Battlefield 5 is actually going to be called Battlefield 1, as in Battlefield World War I, because it's set in World War I. It's kind of a confusing name in the same way that the Xbox 3 was renamed to the Xbox One, but I guess that makes sense because it's a Microsoft exclusive, or not Microsoft exclusive, it has that DLC priority thing, so maybe they came in and screwed around with the naming, but it is a World War I based shooter game. There's a lot of emphasis on brutality and darkness, and trench combat, melee weapons, spikes, club, axes, shovel, all kind of stuff like that. Vehicles that you would expect from Battlefield, such as tanks and boats. Instead of airplanes, since we're in World War I, we have biplanes that you can either gun or fly. But since we are in World War I, we can also do zeppelins and horses, of all things, that appear to be usable in multiplayer, which looks really fun to me. I cannot wait to commandeer a battle zeppelin or do a cavalry charge. A lot of different maps, a lot of different Europe ones, and some Arabic maps. I guess we're talking about the Ottomans and all that sort of stuff. And it comes out about 3 weeks before Call of Duty Infinite Warfare does. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the trailer, and then I'm going to skip into my reactions, opinions, and a quick breakdown of the trailer. As it says, that is in-game footage, and I do want to point out that that would be illegal for them to lie about that, so it probably really is real in-game footage of the graphics. However, there's always a however and a caveat, I would bet that it is very likely PC graphics and not for consoles, and I would also bet that it is very likely either graphics from cutscenes or from campaign and not multiplayer. You do have to keep in mind that even though there's a ton of hype here, in-engine graphics and gameplay graphics are not the same thing. I would expect the actual gameplay graphics to be very good because Battlefield has always had good graphics, but probably not quite the same as what you see in the trailer. Then again, because this is a COD channel and you want me to compare it directly to COD Infinite Warfare, they do look significantly better than the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare graphics, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was mostly the same thing. It was a lot of campaign hype, it was a lot of cutscenes and stuff. However, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare does show a little bit more of actual campaign gameplay. They tend to do third-person shots of campaign segments instead of, let's say, dramatized campaign segments. They could have done the same thing, but either way, at the end of the day, the Battlefield trailer did have better graphics, and it looked pretty insane, to be honest. I would be happy with about half of those graphics transitioning over to multiplayer. But speaking of graphics and all that, DICE is very well known for launching buggy or half-finished games. Case in point, Battlefield 4, which I'm going through right now, you can see that there's a lot of texture bugs. This was after launch, it was still a big mess. I personally loved Battlefield 4 when it worked. That game, after like a year or two, once we got all the bugs fixed, was fantastic, but it was too late, or too little too late, kind of done at that point, and I don't want DICE to launch a buggy Battlefield 1. I would rather have the release date delayed, I would rather have it bounce back. I want a Battlefield 1 that works on launch, not a Battlefield Hardline 2.0 or Battlefield 4 that didn't even work on consoles because that was a big mess. I just want it to work. So DICE, if you're listening, please, 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 please fix your bugs. And now let's talk about the World War I setting. I personally love the World War I setting, and I've been asking it forever for either Battlefield or Call of Duty, but only in a not serious fun kind of way. As you've seen in the trailer, they're going for this dark, gritty, aggressive, dramatic World War I and that sort of stuff, and I don't really care for all of that seriousness in my World War I. Don't get me wrong, I know World War I was terrible. Rot foot, trench combat, low life expectancy, starving, freezing, horrible, brutal hand-to-hand combat, one of the worst moments in human history. However, I think I liked the idea of World War combat not because of that grimness, but because I liked the funny idea of fighting with old technology, of like shooting my bolt-action rifles at biplanes, or slowly putting into battle on a bombing zeppelin, or riding a horsey around in circles and stuff like that. I didn't really want the scary part of it, I just kind of wanted the old technology part of it, because that sounded really fun. The melee weapons look fun, I'm sure they're going to be fun, I'm sure they're going to be unlockable, and each one will offer something different, but they need to be improved over Hardline. I know that Hardline had a couple of patches, but I really didn't play the game but for more than maybe a week or so, because I didn't like it very much, and the melee weapons in that were duty in my opinion, so needs to be better than that. And I do think that large-scale World War I combat looks very, very fun to me. Honest to God, like huge. If we could get, I know it's typically like 64, 32 versus 32. I would love to get like 128-player servers with 64 versus 64 in these World War I combats. To me, that sounds glorious in what next-gen gaming is all about. Imagine, in real time with real people, trying to make a run across no man's land from trench to trench. Imagine how fun or difficult that would be to actually get up and try and run across the barbed wire, the minefields, the machine guns, the artillery and everything, and make it over to the other trench. And then imagine in real time with a whole ton of people over there, you finally make it to the trench and you're stuck in an endless series of 1v1s. It's like the Spartans at Thermopylae. They can't really fight you more than a couple at a time at best, if they even notice you. So you're working through the trenches with your melee weapon or your shotgun or even your bolt action, just popping them 1v1, 1v1, 1v1 all the way. Or imagine riding a horse up to a tank and hopping off the horse to try to get inside the tank, or sticking it, or trying to disable the treads or something like that. Taking, as you've seen in the trailer, a sword and trying to whop people on the ground because they're infantry. Or imagine slowly putting into battle with a war zeppelin, like one of those big things, just, and once you finally get there, you're drawing all the flak, but you're dropping your bombs and blowing people up. I think it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun things you can do, a lot of good ways to do it. However, if it doesn't have all this craziness, if it tries to be a realistic World War I, it's going to be super boring if it's just a bolt action and machine gun slugfest. That is going to put me to sleep super fast. Almost all the guns I assume are going to be bolt action in some capacity, which is fine. But if that's all it is like 50 people shooting bolt action rifles at each other for hours on end, that is going to be super, super boring, but it doesn't seem to be. Seems like we got a lot going on. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this, pretty positive about it. Don't have a lot of complaints other than the fact that I know the in-game graphics aren't going to look that good, especially not on console. And I really hope the game works on launch. I don't want a buggy game, because if it's buggy, I'm just not going to play it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.